Hi, this is Al from Albopepper.com. Today I'm talking about growing potatoes. Of course, you can grow them in ground, and there's a lot of good information about how to do that, but there are other techniques. Last year I tried one way, and this year I actually developed a little bit of an experimental method of my own that I'm testing, and so far it's looking good, but let me show you what I did to set this up. Last year I tried one of these potato grow bags. First time I've ever used one. I actually used two. I have a video showing the harvest that I got out. But if you look at one of these, we can see that there are a couple drainage holes, and essentially all this is a tarp that has been sewn into this pattern, this cylinder that can hold some potting mix or some dirt, some compost, along with the addition of this Velcro pouch that lets you mid-season kind of reach in and pull out some potatoes. I never use this feature, but I decided to think outside of the box a little bit, or maybe actually I was trying to use a box, and this is what I developed for this new season. Based upon some of those basic ideas, I'm using a regular tarp. I have some holes perforated through the bottom for drainage, but I fabricated this frame that is able to hold this tarp together, and it's pretty much the same height as this grow bag was. So we have about 17.5 inches of depth, which through the early part of the season I'll be steadily filling this all the way up to the top, and then I have the room here for the leaves and everything to grow on the top. And one thing that I think is pretty cool about this idea is for the front panel, I actually have the remainder of this 6 foot by 8 foot tarp folded up. And so the idea is when it's time to harvest, I can take and loosen up one of the boards that's holding in just exclusively this front panel and pop out that tarp, and then I can unfold it and I can pull out all the potatoes and just pull them out from the mix right there on that very tarp that is used to create this. I think it's a pretty cool idea, so I want to see how this works. And one thing I do know is it's definitely going to have a higher capacity than a couple of the grow bags. I would say it could easily outperform 4 grow bags. So I look forward to sharing the results as I get into this season of my second year growing potatoes. To show how I'm doing this, I used a potting mix that had some coir in it and mixed in some compost, homemade, and what looked like a decent bagged compost as well. Added some perlite, about a gallon, and several gallons of vermiculite, and mixed all that up. I filled this to a depth of around 4 or 5 inches, and now I'm ready to put in my seed potatoes. I have 3 bags. These are what I ended up getting, and that's how many potatoes actually were in the 3 bags altogether. So I'm starting with this many potatoes. You can see there's not much weight here. Now the real test will be seeing what type of yield I get from what probably is only a pound or 2 of actual seed potatoes. This is how I'm spacing my seed potatoes out. I just utilized every one that I had, and as reference, this is a 3 foot by 2 foot area, and what I'm going to do is bury these so that they're covered with around 2 inches of mix, and that will leave 2 to 3 inches below them. And then as the sprouts start to come up and they start to grow more, then I'll subsequently continue to backfill this with more and more until I filled it all the way to the top of the tarp. So that's the idea, that's the process, and now I'm ready to get underway. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for today. After 7 weeks, I've been getting some good growth with these potatoes, so that is promising. Even despite a lot of rainy weather, they seem to be faring well. So time's going to tell. At the end of the season, I'm going to be doing a follow-up, and you're going to want to check it out. So stay tuned in a couple months for the actual harvest, and we'll see how well this produces. But thanks for taking the time to watch. If you've enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't, and happy gardening.